Freedom for Iran!
There are worldwide protests, and they've made their way here to Colorado. Calls for justice. This following the suspicious death of an Iranian woman who died in police custody.
What we know tonight after 2 Aurora police officers shot and killed a suspect last night.
Sunday's turned into a beautiful day, especially for those who are going to be watching some Sunday night football as the Broncos take on the Niners. Of course, the Broncos have some injured players and a head coach who's feeling some heat.
Protests are erupting around the world following the death of a 22-year-old woman in Iran. Mahsa Amini died when she was in the custody of Iran's so-called mortality police. She was arrested for violating Iran's strict hair code for improperly wearing her headscarf. Violent protests continue in Iran tonight. And while hundreds gather in London to Paris to voice their anger about the suspicious death, women have been leading the calls for change and freedom. And now people in Colorado have joined in on these worldwide protests.
9 News reporter Jaleesa Irizarry now taking us to the demonstration that was here in Denver.
A lot of emotion outside of the Colorado State Capitol today as people gather to take a stand for women's rights in Iran. A lot of the women I spoke to say now more than ever, people in the U.S. need to step up and show their support.
Hair does not make a person, but the freedom to choose how it's worn does. On Sunday, people decided to be present in support for those who can't.
So we are here to be the voice of the people of Iran.
Noosh knows for many, thousands of miles away in Iran, freedom may feel like an illusion.
All of these women and all the people on the streets, they're wanting human rights. They're wanting basic rights, women's rights, environmental rights, economic justice, and they're not getting that.
Throughout the country, communities have rallied in the name of Mahsa Amini, a woman that died in police custody in Iran after being arrested for wearing her headscarf improperly.
We've let it go far too long.
For Lisa Andreas and her 11-year-old daughter Amelia, the news feels personal.
Our brothers, our sisters, our cousins, our family have been fighting against the morality police for their bangs being shown, their fingernails. They can't wear lipstick, they can't wear fingernail polish. This young woman was doing absolutely nothing. It is time for change.
And I want the Irans to be free and not wear a hijab.
Amelia may never get to see her family in Iran, but her mother believes here,
Freedom for Iran! Freedom for Iran!
She still gets a glimpse of what makes her country.
Mahsa, we stand with you!
A community that fights for the freedom to choose what they believe.
We stand with you!
Iran's president did say Mahsa Amini's death needs to be investigated, but he also did say they need to deal decisively with the growing protests across the country. Reporting in Denver, Jaleesa Irizarry, 9 News.
The second highest ranking member of the Clear Creek County Sheriff's Office has died. Sheriff Rick Albers announced Bruce Snelling died at his home last night. Albers said Snelling loved Clear Creek and was proud of the employees and community he served. The sheriff did not share how Snelling died. That department has been under fire recently over the shooting of Kristen Glass. New video shared earlier this month showed law enforcement shooting and killing Glass in Clear Creek County. Glass called 911 when his car got stuck in Silver Plume. He said he was suffering a mental health crisis. After 70 minutes of negotiations, a Clear Creek County deputy broke his window, fired beanbag rounds at him, tased him, and eventually shot and killed him. Under Sheriff Bruce Snelling was not involved in the incident, but he did share the initial release of what happened and answered some of our questions about the incident.
In Aurora, police are looking for a suspect who killed one man last night and seriously injured another. It happened around 2 a.m. at a parking lot just off Chambers and Iliff. Police say they found 2 men with multiple gunshot wounds. Both went to the hospital. That's where one of them later died. Police have not identified a suspect in the shooting, but they're asking anyone with any information to give them a call.
Several agencies are investigating after 2 Aurora police officers shot and killed a suspect. It began yesterday when officers tried contacting 2 suspects in a stolen car. Officers tried to reach those suspects at a Circle K off Alameda and Galena. One suspect ran from the car while the other stayed. Denver police, who are helping in the investigation, say the suspect ran towards officers when he got to a fence. They say the suspect confronted officers with a weapon. However, police have not said what that weapon was. 2 officers then shot the suspect. Witnesses on the scene told us the suspect looked like they were trying to toss a gun away before the officers fired. We asked police. They told us they'll look at that as part of the investigation. Denver Police, Colorado State Patrol, and the Colorado Bureau of Investigations are all investigating the shooting. The Aurora officers are on administrative leave.
Sunday, a little after 5 o'clock, about an hour away from kickoff, right there at Empower Field. Beautiful skies. It says it's 75 degrees on my television set. Great day to be at the game or just watch some football if you were, say, having a television nearby.
Yeah, and you're chilling.
Yeah.
Maybe you could stick a toe out in the sun and that's about it. You know, they say toes in the sand, Danielle, right? But not a cloud in the sky.
Beautiful today. You know, we actually had a weak little cold front swing into the state, so that actually helped to drop off our temperatures just a little bit today. Still so pleasant, sitting in the mid-70s on this Sunday afternoon. And we have those bright blue skies across downtown Denver. A perfect night as we look ahead toward the Broncos game. This is our live camera around Cheeseman Park overlooking the city. Just a couple of thin clouds in the distance. Otherwise, 70s lining up the I-25 corridor, a little warmer in far southeastern Colorado. 60s, 70s up into the mountains, and about 81 in Grand Junction. We're sitting at 64 in Evergreen as well as Conifer. A couple of degrees cooler in Nettleton and Black Hawk, but 70s here in the metro area. Still tracking a couple of isolated storms just beginning to pop up around the San Juans. Otherwise, the rest of the state looking at crystal clear conditions. We zoom out and you can see that ridge of high pressure anchored off to the west. That's going to keep us dry. It's going to keep us relatively warm while the cooler weather and the scattered showers, thunderstorms will be impacting parts of the upper Midwest through New England. Tonight, a beautiful evening out there. The 80-degree temperatures, they are back as we look ahead toward the work week. I am tracking, though, a few storm chances as we get into the work week. We'll talk about that and a look ahead toward the 7-day forecast in just a few.